FBI may finally be closing in on charges against Hunter Biden. As a former Justice Department official says, an outcome could be imminent. Federal prosecutors weighing a number of possible charges against the president's son. They include a failure to pay income tax, money laundering, various tax crimes, and lying when buying a gun. Hunter's attorney says, in part, quote, "It is a federal felony for a federal agent to leak information about a grand jury investigation. We expect the Department of Justice will diligently investigate and prosecute such bad actors." So basically, Hunter's lawyer is threatening and warning the government or whoever it is that's leaking this, that's a bigger story than Hunter's actual potential charges and what he's done wrong. That's his statement. Hunter has been under federal investigation into his overseas business deals since 2018. Joining me right now is former Georgia Congressman and former Judiciary Committee ranking member Doug Collins. And Doug, I want to get your take on this morning, because what we're seeing from the Washington Post are tax crimes, that he didn't pay income tax or he lied when buying a gun. I don't see anything in any of these charges about the massive influence peddling. That is the much bigger story here, the fact that this family has taken in tens of millions of dollars from Chinese officials tied to the Chinese Communist Party. Your thoughts on what we're looking at here?
Yeah, good morning, Maria. Yeah, the interesting thing is here is also, what about drugs? I mean, very evident in pictures and everything else. What about drugs? What about, you know, the solicitation of prostitution? There's other things that could be there. And then, as you said, what about the other issues of this influence peddling? I don't know if the FBI is trying to split the hair here and say, hey, we're going after this, we're not going to go after this to be political. But again, it goes back to an understanding that the Department of Justice right now is perceived by many to have two sets of standards for how they're dealing with individuals of high-profile cases. If it's conservatives, it's one way. If it's a Democrat or liberal, it's another way. But this is, at least we're moving forward, Maria. I mean, shockingly, we're moving forward, at least it looks like, with something toward Hunter Biden finally.
Yeah, but look, we know that there is a wide expectation that the Republicans will take the majority in the House after the November midterms. Do you think this has to do with the fact that we've had promises from Republicans of investigations? We've had, James Comer on this program, a ranking member on oversight, who said, yeah, we're going to be sending out subpoenas and we want to know about all that money that Hunter Biden has taken in. Is this an effort to get ahead of that?
It could be. And remember, the House will have all the hearings they want, but you're still dealing with the Merrick Garland Justice Department. So I think maybe they are trying to tamper this down. They know that they're going to be under a lot of scrutiny when the Republicans take over in November in the Judiciary Committee in the House, the Oversight Committee in the House. So I think this could be we're moving forward on something here, trying to take down the heat. The problem is it's not going to work. I mean, you made mention when we first started, 2018, it's taken this long to figure out that there's actual crimes involved, when most people could, at least by what's been presented publicly, say, hey, something is going on here. So, yeah, I think it could be a little bit of that, because the Department of Justice is getting ready, frankly, in my opinion, to probably have a rough 6 to 8 months after the first year Republicans take over the House.
Doug, let me ask you this. We've got thousands of prisoners in Illinois set to be released in January, when the state becomes the first to completely do away with cash bail. Under the new law signed by Governor Pritzker, many who commit serious offenses can be back on the streets based on the assumption of innocence. That's between different state attorneys are suing the governors to prevent the law from going into effect. Doug, we know how this played out in New York. We know how it's played out in other big cities. Cashless bail puts criminals back on the streets to commit more crimes hours later.
Yeah, I mean, especially this is what frustrates me greatly, because I worked on criminal justice reform, real criminal justice reform with Donald Trump, with Democrats and others when I was in Congress. You can do this without inherently in jeopardy the safety of Americans. And this idea that you just do away with cashless bail with no real checks and balances is wrong. There's ways to do this and make sure that those who need to stay in jail, and you deal with those that do not have the violence proclivity on their side, that you can deal with them in pretrial ways. The problem I'm seeing, though, is that, like in New York, when my friend Lee Zeldin was attacked, his attacker was almost out before he got through with his speech. This liberal idea of criminal justice reform is not criminal justice reform. It is actually perversion of criminal justice and making our places unsafe. We've got to have a criminal justice system that supports not only law enforcement, but the system itself, so that people can trust it and feel safe in these communities. And this perversion of criminal justice reform going on is just wrong, and we've got to get back to common sense.
Real quick on your recent Fox News op-ed, great piece. You write, quote, "I'd argue the most urgent need for conservative principles to address rising crime and protect public safety has to do with the pretrial system." Tell us more.
I mean, that's dealing with them when we first come in. And again, making sure that we're taking the violent offenders, putting them away, making sure that they're not getting right back out, committing the same crimes, and making sure that we do prosecution as we should be. But then also dealing with our mental health, our drugs, our other issues that we can deal with pre-trial, knowing that they're going to be under supervision, knowing that we're going to find help for those folks. That is making a better society. That's what we tried in the First Step Act with President Trump. That's what we worked with Democrats to find, that how we make a better society is by taking care of the things we can take care of outside in pretrial in the criminal justice system, still holding them accountable, but yet then making sure that we still have space for those who can't.
It's a great piece and a great point. Doug, good to see you this morning. Thanks so much for weighing in on all of that. Doug Collins joining us this morning in Georgia. Good to see you, sir.